And we are live. Good morning, everybody. This is Travis. This is Travis from Carter Cow Capital and Trade with Travis. Hopefully, everybody's doing very well on this Wednesday morning. Another trading day, another live trading Ftmo video as we go through and be able to take a look at the progress of the Boss EA and talk about what's happening with the Band EA, talk about what's happening with our live trading within our overall Discord group and everything else like that. Hopefully, everybody's doing very well. And obviously, as we go through and get everything situated, please make sure that you end up liking the overall video. Make sure that you end up subscribing to what we end up doing from an overall trade perspective, and obviously, make sure that you end up getting this out of the conversation as we end up going through. Gonna end up placing in some information, but before we end up doing that, we got to go through the disclaimer, and then after that, we can go ahead and get started. As I am very excited about what is happening today, because we have FOMC that's about to show up, so we can go ahead and go through all of that information. But with that being said, here we go. I am not a CTA, so I'm not going to tell you whether to buy or to sell. What I'm going to do is teach you education, and from that education, you can be able to make your own informed decision. And understand that trading involves risk. It involves risk of being able to make money, also involves risk of being able to lose money. So please keep that in mind. And understand that past performance is not indicative of future results, which means that if you end up making money yesterday, it's not promised that you can end up making money today. So with that being said, as we go through and take a look at everything, we're going to talk about what happened yesterday because we did not have a night session. And then after that, we're going to jump into where we're at when it comes down to the overall charts and kind of move forward. Yesterday, we ended up having a climate count for the pound. We ended up talking about that a little bit earlier. That actually ended up being negative. We ended up having consumer price indexes for the United States dollar based off of inflation and everything else like that. That actually ended up being a negative 0.2, which made the market spike. Now, keep this in mind. If you're new to trading, understand that there's a lot of correlations in trading that allows you to be able to, one, get a better idea about what's going to end up happening before it actually happens. So simple thing is this, and I'm going to break it down. If United States dollar index is going up, then that means that indexes are typically going to end up going down, right? So what ended up happening was, or if United States dollar index goes down, then typically indexes go up. What ended up happening based off of that news was that based off of the negative news, the United States dollar as a currency ended up going down when it came down to most of its numbers, and y'all see that on the charts in a second, and that ended up pushing indexes up. Now, it didn't stay like that for all of the time, but we ended up having a large movement to the upside. The market ended up subsiding, and then after that, kind of pushing us out. So if you end up taking those trades that we ended up talking about a little bit earlier, or you was a part of the Discord group, then you would have seen some of the trades that we ended up talking about, including gold, including Bitcoin, and including what we end up doing inside of the Ftmo challenge. So we end up going through those. Today, what is going to end up happening? At 2:30, we're going to end up having FOMC, which means that Jerome Powell's going to end up speaking. And when Jerome Powell speaks, the market moves. Please keep that in mind. So I do expect that earlier within the overall morning sessions, the 8:30 session for Forex and 9:30 session for stocks and indexes, that the market's going to end up being relatively slow. We probably might end up having somewhat of a pop of a move, and then after that, it's probably going to end up basically really kind of slowing down. So if you're inside of a trade within this overall 8 to 11 area, I will look at being able to take profit and get clear, and then after that, get ready for what's going to end up happening at 2:30 and 3:30 respectively, if you're going to end up trading that way. If you're not a trader that likes trading news, then you should be out before 2:30 and being able to go from there. Now, with that being said, what I want to be able to do is that I want to go ahead and do a couple things. One, I want to invite you to our overall Discord channel and be able to click on from there and make sure that y'all end up having that inside of the chat box. That is our Discord link. That is for the elite. That is for the foundation. That is for the inner circle groups. If you're interested in being able to get a free link to the Discord and everything else like that, all you have to do is just go to this link right here, so you can be able to get a little bit more information before being able to decide that you're going to end up joining our community as we go through and kind of push everything when it comes down to that. That goes the link for that. Also, please keep in mind, I'm going to talk about the Boss EA. I'm going to end up talking about the Skywalker EA. I'm going to end up talking about the Boss Band EA, which is going to end up being out in February. And be able to talk about those trades as well. So we end up going from now. With that being said, let's go ahead and jump into those trades to see what ended up happening a little bit earlier today, or a little bit earlier yesterday, and then after that we end up going from there. As you can see, this is my Ftmo account. Matter of fact, I'm going to end up showing the actual progress of this, show it from the actual trading account perspective. We'll talk about the trades that are actually there. Give me one quick second. Let's see. So, if you take a look at it, we have passed most of the items. The only thing that we have to do is pass the overall number amount that we end up having. Yesterday, ended up taking a loss, and we were pretty much, we was actually below 50,000 on that last movement. I think we ended up talking about that a little bit earlier. I said that was going to end up being very, very short when it came down to a move, because I really felt like we were going to end up having a big push based off of the news and everything else. So we've did a minimum 5 trading days. We've done a max. We have not had a max loss. Our biggest loss is our max loss is $652. We don't have a max loss of 5,000, which we've stayed in there. And our profit target is 2,500. Currently, right now, we're at 2,411. So we're very close to being able to hit when it comes down to that. Hopefully, we end up having a good day in the morning. I can be able to shut down the system and be able to have a video being able to celebrate what the boss EA ended up doing, because this was 100% fully automated when it came down to that. So it's taken 13 trades. The average risk reward is 1.16. Obviously, we would like to be that. We'd like to have that higher. The average risk reward is 1 to 1.6. That's going to remain to be the same, but the profit factor has to be above 1.5, and currently right now is at 2.61. Win rate on this one is 69, which is relatively low. I talked about 2 trades that we end up missing that end up getting triggered into my other brokerage accounts. We would have been done with this already, but it is what it is. We've seen a lot of good data. And these are the trades that we end up taking from the 5th all the way to where we are right now. We still have about 4 more days before the challenge, or 3 more days before the challenge is actually over with. But yesterday, what ended up happening was this. Early during the morning, we ended up having a trade on US 100. That trade actually ended up being negative. We ended up getting kicked out of that trade. Then after that, when the news came out, we had those 2 trades that were already in. We ended up taking a trade on US 100 and on US 30 respectively. Was in the trade for 4 seconds. We in the trade for 1 second. Ended up getting out at 2:14. Ended up getting out with a full take profit when it came down to those movements. Super excited about that. $88. Well, a little less. About $88 to $90 away from being able to hit profit when it came down to being able to pass. So I believe that we can be able to get it done today. Obviously, it's going to end up being automated, and we'll see how everything goes, and we'll talk about it a little bit later on today. Now, with that being said, we have 3 orders that are actually being placed in. They have not triggered as of yet. Got very close with Euro United States dollar. Have an order of 1.0673 with a stop loss of 1.0653 and a take profit of 106.93. That may end up getting hit off of this buy. If it never gets hit, then that's fine. US 30, we have 2 orders that I don't know if they may get hit today. We'll have to keep that in mind when it comes down to those overall positions. The buy trade is at 34.919. The sell trade is at 34.423. Then after that, US 100. I got to figure out what's going on with US 100, because on one of my other brokerages, the trade is actually in for the sell trade as well. But we'll talk about that a little bit earlier. Talk about that a little bit later on. But for the buy trade, it's at 12,203. I don't think that'll be hit no time soon. You talk about a 400-point move. So we might get to a point to where we may not trade today unless it's on Euro United States dollar. And either way, one of those trades should be able to fulfill the overall requirements of being able to beat the trial challenge. And then after that, we're going to end up doing the 50K and 100K challenges, respectively, when it comes down to certain pairs. So there we are. Now, with that being said, let's go ahead and take a look at the big 3. If you're not familiar with the big 3, it is the United States dollar index, it is gold, it is oil. The reason why we look at those 3 is because we end up taking a look at what's happening overall when it comes down to, let's see, give me one quick second. Okay, cool. Sorry about that. All right, from a weekly perspective, what is happening? Market actually ended up breaking from that consolidation that we ended up having. We said that if the market broke 12,890, then we'll be interested in being able to take sell trades, and we knew that the United States dollar would end up being down. We did not take any trades in the morning time until the market actually ended up breaking. The market ended up breaking to the downside a little bit earlier today. Got as low as 12,816. Currently, right now, I'm kind of retesting that overall move. Currently right now, if you take a look at it from a 2-hour perspective, we had our breakout. We haven't had a full retest of that 12,890 area. I don't know if we will. I think that we probably might be in consolidation until that actually happens. Typically what ends up happening before news that is big as FOMC ends up happening is that the market will start to do something like this, consolidate up. And then after that, when the news actually comes out, then you'll end up having some movement like that. So I'm going to keep that up there and see if the movement is going to end up being like that. Overall, there's no trade to be able to take on the United States dollar, at least right now, until we kind of get a little bit more information to be able to work with overall. U.S. oil. U.S. oil end up popping out of consolidation. To the upside. Remember, anytime that the market breaks a resistance, it will end up going to another resistance. But the other thing that we have to keep in mind is that there is a long trend line that has not been broken to the upside, and still kind of in that phase where we broke out of consolidation but went inside of another. And broke out of consolidation but has not went into another consolidation to the upside. So at this point, I'm kind of weary of what the move is going to end up being. So I'm just going to say, hey, just stay away for right now, and we will kind of go from there. There's nothing to be able to do on for oil as of yet. Even off the 1 hour, it has to retest the overall move. I didn't take a trade off of oil yesterday. I did not take an oil. I haven't taken an oil trade at this point in the last 2 weeks. So we're just going to end up staying away from oil and see how everything kind of plays out a little bit later on. Okay. Gold, we did take a trade on gold, I believe. So yes, what ended up happening was this. We had 2 consolidation trades that were basically placed in. The first one's at 1805. The second one was at 1780. I'm sorry, was 1765. The market ended up breaking to the upside. Then we would have took the trade from 1805, trying to be able to take profit at 1872. Market ended up breaking out at 1805, had a strong push up to the 1824 area, and then after that started to reset from there. Currently, right now, if you end up trading that and you did not take partial profit, then we're pretty much at break even at this point. I did end up taking partial profit. I still have a little bit remaining when it comes down to this trade, but we are profitable based off of it. But currently right now I'm looking for another move. That other move probably won't happen until legitimately probably right when FOMC ends up coming out right around 2:30 and 3:30 respectively. So I may end up canceling out that other half of the trade that I have left, but we will see how the market kind of reacts about that overall. Currently right now, nothing to be able to do at this particular point. Now, with that being said, we can go ahead and take a look at what's happening with US 30. From a manual trade perspective, I haven't taken many manual trades as of yet. Solely because I'm trying to get, solely because I want to be 100% fully automated from this, and being able to go from there. And the Boss EA and the Boss Band EA and Skywalker Max and everything else have been doing their thing. But with that being said, we are still in the middle of a high volume node. I'm going to zoom out and make sure we can be able to see this a little bit better. We've been inside of this consolidation block for a while. Market ended up popping up to the upside when it came down to the Ikomoku cloud and everything else, but we was in a larger consolidation block overall. And what we can do now is officially adjust this overall consolidation block, because that is the new consolidation area at this particular point. This market is going through a larger phase of consolidation. We probably might see that when it comes down to the daily as well, on how the market truly hasn't breaking out of this overall area. The support off of this is 33,300. The resistance at this now is 34,600, which means to me that it's going to end up being not necessarily a good time to be able to trade US 30 until the beginning of the year. And that kind of makes sense because in December, typically the market slows down. And because the market is slowing down at this particular point and at this rate, I do not want to be able to get into trades from a long-term perspective, expecting that we're going to end up getting long-term results. It's just not going to end up happening that way. From that perspective, we take a look at it from a daily perspective, we can see that we're still pretty much in a consolidation. We hit the top of the long-term, point of control. And currently right now, we see that we have about 13 million people basically trading right around this area for its volume. So nothing to be able to do. I think we might be in this area for a while. I think truly that we might be in this area for until the beginning of the year. So I'm not going to be interested in just jumping in on a pair just for nothing, or just because I like trading a pair. And don't get me wrong, I love trading US 30, but a setup is a setup, and if the setup's not right, then there's no trade to be able to take. Got it? So US 30, nothing to be able to do on that. Nas 100, let's take a look at that real quick before we get out of here. And we got to talk about Bitcoin as well. Nas 100 had a buy stop at, oh no, that's an older trade. Okay, no, there wasn't no trade on that one. That was that trade right over there. No trade still on Nas 100. We're still inside of consolidation. We're in the middle of consolidation, and if you're in the middle of a large scale consolidation with a high volume node overall, you have a 33% chance on winning if you're trading inside of the consolidation. So with that being said, not going to end up doing anything off of that. Won't even recommend being able to take a look at anything off of that. So we're getting prepared for the beginning of the year. The question is the market going to end up pushing up to the upside, or are we going to end up seeing a continued drop to the downside and kind of retesting the numbers that happened in October? I would almost suggest that the market is going to end up having a push up. But we don't know that for certain as of yet. So there's really no move to be able to take. I can get rid of that. We got to look for the next high volume node that's going to end up happening. That's probably going to end up happening off the daily chart. Let's see. But we have obviously very much have consolidation at this particular point. We don't have a low volume node that we can be able to take advantage of. Well, yeah, we do. We have a little bit of a low volume node that we could be able to take advantage of, but that move actually ended up happening a little bit earlier yesterday. That move got completed at 12,247 based off of this pocket that we had right there. So that pocket got fulfilled yesterday, right there, based off of the high wick of that candlestick. So there's no trades. There's no trades on that one when it comes down to the movement because that zone ended up getting fulfilled. Once it breaks out of this area again, it's going to end up getting somewhere up here, which will end up being at the 12,520 area. I would keep that in mind when it comes down to that. But overall, there is no trades on US 100 as of yet. Obviously, we'll take a look at what's going to end up happening with FOMC, and then after that, we'll kind of go from there and kind of move forward. Take a look at Bitcoin real quick before we get out of here. Bitcoin, we end up having two orders. We had an order to the upside. We said that once it ends up breaking above that 17,400 area, then I'd be interested in being able to take a trade off of that. The last time we looked at it, I said that we were looking at or trying to hope that the market will end up having a breakout, a retest, and then after that, a push to the upside. We got the breakout, we got the retest, we got the big push to the upside. Market is continuing to move up towards that end. Take profit on this was at 18,240. Would not surprise me if the market keeps on pushing up and get to that number. The market is somewhat leaving from the buy zone, so I think that we still have a little bit more momentum overall. And I think, obviously, because FOMC won't come out until a little bit later on today, we might see more continued movement until that information comes out, and then we might end up having a couple more volume spikes when it comes down to that movement. So we just got to keep that in mind overall. But that's pretty much it for today. Obviously, We want to be able to see how well the system actually ends up doing for its boss, and see if it ends up getting triggered in when it comes down to that movement. We're not there yet as we end up going through. All of our other pairs that have been checked, let's go through and talk about those real quick. You can look at all of the information on my FX book and be able to get my information from there. Here's my FX book portfolio, so you can be able to take a look at it currently right now. With the Boss EA for Euro, United States dollar. Boss EA Euro, United States dollar up 10%. It would have won the Ftmo challenge based off of where we were 2 weeks ago. Currently right now, we're doing very well, up 8% this month. Currently right now, if we take a look at the net profit when it comes down to that, obviously you can be able to see that the system has done very well. And the duration of the trades has done very well. Like I said, we don't want to waste any time when it comes down to being able to take trades like this. It was kind of an anomaly that we end up seeing that this trade was in here for 55 minutes, because typically the trades don't work like that overall. But we was in and out, came down to that move, good to go when it came down to that. We take a look at what ended up happening based off of US 30. Currently right now, US 30 is up 23%. You take a look at that movement. Profit factor is 3.02. It's done 85% of his long trades, 83% of his short trades, or 84% overall. Z score is above 1, which is great. Sharp ratio is 0.46, which kind of matches up with what we end up seeing for his back testing. Forward testing right now at this particular point in November, we end up having 10%. In December, currently right now, we're up 11% when it comes down to that movement. End up having a big trading day yesterday based off of the news. And being able to go from there. Lastly, taking a look at what's happening with NAS 100. NAS 100 is up 2% when it comes down to that movement. Had our first loss on that yesterday. We talked about that. Profit factor still is 1.14. Obviously, we got to get above 1.5. From a history standpoint, has taken a few trades. We ended up having 2 losses that ended up happening when the market was actually slow. So I need to figure out a way to be able to adjust that a little bit so we can be able to get the win rate up. Maybe that might be a buying thing that we might need to be able to adjust and be able to go from there. But end up taking the trade right during the news, and it ended up happening as well. Big profit when it came down to that as well. Let's see. I'm on my way out. Just stop to say hello. Well, I'm leaving with you. But thanks for being able to pop in, Block. And we end up going from there. Really didn't miss all that much. Not going to end up being a lot of trades today, just based off of news. We'll see how everything kind of plays off when it comes down to that. But you like what I end up doing, please make sure that you end up liking the Trade with Travis page on YouTube. Please make sure that you end up going to take a look at what's happening with our other page, Expert Advisor Reviews. Interested in being able to learn a little bit more information about that. We're going to end up placing it in that channel so y'all can be able to click onto it and be able to see. Y'all have allowed us, when it came down to that channel, to really be able to grow overall when it, for us that be one of the more search videos or one of the more search terms for us expert advisors and being able to help out. Obviously, that is the biggest thing that we would love to be able to do overall when it comes down to that. Like always, make sure that you end up planning your trade your plan with each and every one of y'all in the next video. Take it easy.